Welcome to Countertop Chats. We're just gonna chat at the counter. I wanted to make this video because I hope it's helpful for anyone deciding if online culinary school is for them. I have all the info I just finished, so while everything's hot in my head, I wanted to answer all of your questions. So for any of you that don't know, ICE is the Institute of Culinary Education. They have the New York and LA locations, and they just launched this online culinary program that's approved in some states. I'll put the link down below so you can see all the states it's approved in. I decided to do this program for many reasons, but here are the top ones. Number one, I actually enrolled in the in-person program when I lived in New York. And of course, I enrolled in February. March came around, pandemic hit, and the program just kept getting pushed back because the whole world ended, like the usual. So instead of doing the program, it was September at this point, it was supposed to start in the beginning of summer. We bought a house in Philadelphia instead. And I always had this desire to go to culinary school, but I knew my chapter in New York was over, so I had to go with my gut on that. But I always had this desire to go. So fast forward, 2022, the Institute of Culinary Education reaches out to me and they're like, hey, we know you were interested in our program in 2020 and it didn't work out. We wanted to let you know, because we see you're in Pennsylvania, that the online coursework is approved in that state and we just launched this online program. And they invited me to audit the program. So this was a huge decision for me. I was in a totally different place in life. I was 26 the first time when I started to think about going to culinary school. Business was at this weird transitional point where I was just starting to cook more. And 2022, I was about to be 29 years old and in a totally different phase of life, thinking about having kids soon, in a new city. Business was booming. I'm an established cook and I'm like, I don't know what to do. So this decision was a big deal for me. The reasons I decided to go really came down to, number one, I wanted to wrap up my education and have no regrets before having children. And even though this wasn't the age where I thought I'd be doing something like this, I thought, why would I pass this up? Number two, I did want to expand my career outside of recipe development. Personally, I feel like I was pigeonholed at that time to being a self-taught home cook. And even though being self-taught is fabulous and makes you so credible, I can't teach myself everything. No one in the world knows everything there is to know about everything. So I wanted to expand my credibility, learn from professionals, and expand my career from being, stuck in the home kitchen to having more knowledge about restaurant cooking, the restaurant business, catering, personal chef life, and all the careers in the culinary space that could possibly open up to me. I like knowledge and I like opportunities, and that's really what it came down to. So those two reasons are why I decided to just take the plunge. But to spoil it all, I think it was absolutely worth it. I am such a fan of this program and I am so glad I did it. I have absolutely no regrets. I'm just really grateful that this all happened. So that being said, what is the online program? How the heck does this work? So the culinary school program is broken up into two parts. So there's the culinary arts sector and the business, marketing, everything else you need to know about this industry sector. And that ranges from the math you need to know to cost out your menus and ingredients, or menu concepts and development, or marketing, or management, leadership, just everything you need to know about business. Is kind of like a business course, really, and I loved it. That's another reason I'm so glad I did this, because I wouldn't even know how to Google my way through this knowledge that I learned on that side of the spectrum. On the culinary arts side of things, you cook and you're doing it at home, which we will get to all the questions about that later, but this takes up the most time of the program. So in each module, there's Culinary Fundamentals 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then there is pastry and baking, international cuisine. I feel like that's it, but I'll list everything below. You can see the whole curriculum down below. Every single week, you are watching lectures, learning about different techniques, different proteins, different ingredients, and then it's time to get it together and start cooking. There are 2 labs due every week, and you time lapse yourself doing the entire thing on a Chromebook that they send you or on your own computer. It really depends on what you prefer. But you do that so they can see that you actually performed the lab yourself and you make the dishes that are assigned for that week. This does take a lot of time. I would say all in all, the 2 labs every week, it would take 8 hours total, which is a lot of time. And you can divvy them up into 2 different days. You can do them all in one day. It's up to you. But that part of it takes the bulk of the program. The length of the program is a 1.5 years, give or take. Then after that, there is a 3-month externship. I think it's 3 months. And what you do is work for a culinary business of your choice. They have a careers department that they set you up with. You figure out what you want to try to do, what you want to learn about, and you basically dip your toe in the culinary industry. Because I was auditing the program, I didn't do this. Okay, so they send you a bunch of stuff. Now here, I'm so lazy, I'm not even wearing the outfit right now, but they send you a uniform. Here's a photo of me in this uniform. You have your white chef's coat, your beanies, your chef's beanies, 2 aprons, pants, and clogs. I didn't wear the clogs at home, to be honest, because I needed my sneakers for the back support. But the clogs are great when you do pursue your externship. If you're working in a restaurant, they're the standard restaurant shoes that you wear. The kit with your knives. This has all the knives that you could possibly need. You get a backpack with a bunch of items like bench scrapers, piping bags, your knife skills block. Actually, that's still in here. This little, I don't know. And it shows you all your cuts, so you can basically like line up all the ingredients with this 3D card, which I loved. Very helpful. Anyway, this is great. They also send you a Chromebook, which I didn't use, to be honest. I used an iPad to film my time-lapse videos, and I took my photos of my dishes on my phone. But it's nice that they send it to you because it is an extra tool that you can have and keep all your schoolwork on if you want. What they don't send you is ingredients, because that would be probably impossible. So ingredients are an additional expense to the program. Let's get to our questions. Big question I'm getting right now is, what is the cost of this program? When I enrolled, the cost of the online program was less than half of the in-person program. That I'm not sure of anymore because I don't see it on their website, but you can fill out an inquiry form and get information on that. Multiple people ask me, do you think this is doable with a 9-to-5 corporate job? I do. I do think it depends on where in life you are, but I did it with a business where I work like 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. and I was able to swing it, but that's because I had flexibility. The way that I handled this was I had the flexibility to give myself Fridays for school. So I basically worked Monday through Thursday and I worked extra hours to complete my business work. Then I took Friday to do my school labs, to do my shopping, and then I also did a lab on Sunday, and I completed the rest of the written work throughout the week after my work hours. I did try it the other way where I was doing the labs after my own 9-to-5. It's like going to night school, same hours as in person. I did prefer just having a Sunday fun day at home, like turn on the jazz, enjoy the cooking and learning, because I like it, it's fun. But it's definitely doable. Is it international, or do you need to be in the US? You do need to be in the US. You do have to have primary residence in the states listed on their site, because online classes and online programs are actually approved state by state, which is something I did not know until now. Did you meet any cool people, and what did your classmates plan to do after graduating? When I was enrolled, it was a really small program. I met some great people, and it's like having online pen pals that you're constantly talking to. It is a lot of educational speak, so in the beginning you get to know each other and what career goals are. The people that I was in the course with really wanted to work in the restaurant industry itself. I was kind of the outlier in wanting to try pop-up dinners, stay in the home kitchen, recipe development. But yeah, it was really great to meet people just who are interested in different sectors of the space. I also met a lot of great instructors throughout the program. I vibed with everybody. It was a great time. Do you feel like you'd get the same level of experience as you would with the in-person program? I think each program is like conveying the same information, but in a totally different way. And the type of learner you are will depend on which is best for you. For my type of learning, I thought the online program was outstanding. I'm very independent. I'm not a big group learner. I'm a demonstration and visual learner, and they hit everything on the head with me. The one thing I think you don't get to experience in the online program is working with a team consistently. When you're in the classroom, there are different teams that break out into certain groups, tackle certain parts. You also get that communal tasting. You get that live feedback, that tactical experience of tasting together. That is probably something you can only find in the classroom. I don't think the lack of that changes the knowledge that you get from the program. And I firmly believe that I learned everything about the culinary arts and business through the online program that I would have learned in the classroom program, just delivered in a different way. What's something you learned that you didn't expect to? I didn't even realize the valuable information I would learn about protein prep, butchering. Like, I now know how to fabricate chickens and butcher meats so I can buy them whole and cut my own fillets now, cut my own steaks, and save a lot of money that way. I just found that to be so valuable. And something else is ingredient prep for restaurant cooking. You learn about something called the prep phase, which is all your ingredient prep, and then the pickup phase, which is like a la minute, you're ready to serve, and you have to make sure everything is good to go from the prep phase to make the pickup phase as seamless and short as possible so people can get hot food on their plate presented beautifully in a short amount of time. And I was shocked how much I learned about that in the home kitchen. I went right from doing this in my online culinary school to just being like, I'm ready to do a pop-up dinner. I felt so confident in my menu planning. It was amazing. So those are two things I was just not really expecting to learn about and changed the game for me. How are these assignments graded? I know it seems kind of crazy that you're submitting a culinary assignment to a chef who can't taste them, but they have a really good system in place for your submissions. And the way this works is you time lapse yourself cooking the entire lab. You have to show your station prior to even starting. So they want to make sure you have a clean station set up. Then they will make sure that your mise en place is great. Your mise en place is all your prep, and you're filming this so they know how much time it took you. From there, you photograph your final dish and submit a form. It's like an assignment form where you're checking off flavor profiles and different textures for each component of your dish. It's not like you're making risotto and chicken saying this is salty, because that doesn't tell us anything. You're diving into each component. Okay, the risotto is creamy, the texture was a little bit sticky, a little bit firm, a little bit soft. Elaborate. It tasted earthy from the mushrooms, kind of umami. And you learn about all these adjectives in the beginning of the course, so you're set up for success. But if you're able to describe your dish in a very well-rounded way that the instructor would describe it, if it was done correctly, that's how they base the flavor grade on. And if something seems off, they'll be like, this probably wasn't supposed to taste or feel that way. I would focus more on having a sweeter profile next time. Maybe add a little bit of sugar, maybe adjust it accordingly. Someone might be like, well, you could always lie and just say it tasted this way. But at the end of the day, if you are putting yourself through the time it takes to do these labs and you really want to learn, you will know lying about the flavor profile and the texture of your dish just does you such a disservice. Because if you go to your externship or your job when this is over and you make a bad scrambled egg or a bad risotto because you lied on your submission, that will show because you didn't get the feedback you needed. I also noticed instructors don't penalize you for honest critique of yourself. They actually encourage you to say, I should have done this better, and they will probably agree. Can you do this at your own pace, or do you have to stick to a schedule? You do have to stick to a schedule. Every single week, you have multiple assignments due. Like I said, you have the culinary arts leg, you have the business leg, the 2 labs due a week, the written work, the business work. But if you're able to pace it out, to spread it out through the week so you're not cramming, it's very manageable. How does buying groceries work for the program? To buy the ingredients, you have to go to the store, or you can use Instacart and get them delivered. But I did notice for Culinary Fundamentals 4, when we were working with different proteins that were a little more specific, I had to dig a little deeper and go to butchers or seafood places to get very specific ingredients. And they don't ding you if you can't find an ingredient. You can always ask your professor for a substitute, which I find very educational, honestly. I found it great. Like, I couldn't find ham hock one day, and he's like, oh, just use these instead. I'm like, okay, well, now I know if I see ham hock in a recipe, I can use these other ingredients too. Do you need to have culinary experience to join? I don't think you need any culinary experience to join. I do think it would be helpful for you to get comfortable in a kitchen setting and your own home kitchen before enrolling, just because you're gonna have to be in there a lot. They do send you most of the equipment, but there are some things you just kind of have to have already. Whether you can buy it all used too at Goodwill or something, but cutting boards, saute pans, saucepans, skillets, just essential cookware. They don't send you that, but they'll tell you everything you do need and give you tips on finding things affordably as well. Who do you recommend this program for? I think this program is great for anyone in all stages of life. It just depends on the time that you have available to you and if you're willing to commit it. In my ideal world, if this opened up when I was 23, fresh out of undergrad, I would have been there in a second. I would have spent all week doing this and then doing something on the side, working part-time or something. It was definitely more of a challenge to fit it into my life when I was 29 years old, running a full-time business and traveling for work a lot. But it was absolutely doable because I wanted to make it work. So those are all your questions. I hope this was helpful in the slightest. I wish something like this existed when I was considering the big commitment that it was to go to school again at 29 years old. I'm so happy I did it. I have zero regrets. I learned so much, and I personally believe my career has been extremely heightened from the knowledge I learned. And yeah, I'm really grateful for it. So good luck. Good luck deciding if this is for you, and I hope you get all the info you need from this video and also the link down below. Feel free to DM me as well on Instagram, Dining with Skylar, or just leave a comment with your questions. I'll get back to you about what I personally think. And if you want, I would love it if you subscribed to my channel. It would mean so much to me. I'm always posting recipes, tips that I learned from school, and dinner party menus, which is a new thing for me and I'm loving. That also came from a lot of my school knowledge, which we love that. Okay, good luck, have fun, go cook some things. Mwah, mwah. Bye.